Welcome to Seth's Daily Podcast. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. This is a crossover episode with In Dark Places. Host Junebug, how are you doing tonight, man?
Howdy. What's going on, brother?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good.
Man,
Just enjoying the rainy day.
Vacation.
Yeah, kick back and take it easy. I'm trying to get junk done around the house that I wanted to do on my last vacation and never did get around to. And it's looking like I'm not going to get to this time either because it's supposed to rain every day this week.
Wow. Seems about right.
Man, can't win.
Definitely not. Especially with COVID going on, stuff like that. Oh, God. Anyways,
we've
man,
been shorthanded at work. People calling in sick and junk from COVID, and people been having to do 3 or 4 jobs at once. It's been a mess.
Wow, man. There's definitely is a work shortage for sure. Is that what you're saying, that your work is a work shortage?
Yeah, people be gone a couple weeks at a time out sick and junk. Just about every department where I work is they've all been shorthanded, nobody to fill in.
Wow. That's
everywhere you look is hiring, and nobody wants to work nowadays.
No.
It's funny. I saw there's a gas station over here said work today, get paid today. I was like, man, they must be hard up.
Work today, get paid today. That's a good slogan right there. Seems like an Eastern Kentucky slogan would be work today, get tobacco today.
Yeah.
Or something like that. People would work for their cigarettes and tobacco. That's for sure. But man, I know you've been getting a lot of UFO reports. Do you believe it's because people were doing what you guys advise them to do and look up?
It could be. I think where a lot of people's just out of work right now and junk, more people have more time on their hands. They're looking up in the sky for a change. We got a couple of good reports here a week or so ago. It's been kind of slow though recently. Like the last 6 months or so, we've not been getting a whole lot, but we got a couple of good ones last week. I got one from Pikeville, Kentucky, just the other day on September 23rd. This girl was going to work. She lives over toward Shelby Valley, over past Pikeville, and she works in Pikeville. And she was on her way to work one morning, and there's an industrial park over there. On her way to work, she saw this thing hanging in the sky. She described it as looking like a buoy, like you would see in the middle of a lake, just hanging there in the sky. And as she got around closer to it, I guess the motion of her vehicle and everything, the trees kind of blocked her view. So I went up there. I happened to be off work that day. I went over there and investigated, looked around the area, and it looks like it would definitely be the kind of place you would see a UFO over there, that industrial park. It looked kind of like Area 51 or something. It was a freaky feeling being in there. But I didn't see the UFO myself. I got there a couple hours after she saw it, so it was already long gone by the time I got there.
Oh, did you tell Goose and them about it?
I messaged Goose. Yeah, I told him about it on Facebook.
That's awesome, man.
He was at work that day. I was going to try to get him to go over with me. Like, come on, man, we're going out. We're going to investigate this thing. But he had work.
That's awesome, man. That the people are reporting more sightings to you now and stuff, man. That's definitely cool, and it's close by too, man. I mean, Pikeville's close to me, an hour and 2 minutes, literally, and it's literally like 20-some minutes for you, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm just a hop and a skip from where I go over all the time. It's funny that one was so famous there over Virgi, Kentucky. It was visible over several states back in 2012. All the YouTube videos and stuff said it was the Virgi Kentucky UFO, but it was actually over most of the eastern seaboard. They saw it down as far into Georgia, so that thing was really high up in the sky.
Really? Did
Google.
You get air? What's that?
Google tried to take responsibility for that, said it was like an internet balloon, and no, it's not.
They always try to do that, though.
used to be a weather balloon back in the 40s and 50s. Now they're going to say it's an internet balloon.
What's the difference? Oh man, did you get any reports of that here in Knott County, of that same one seen in Virgi? Or
I don't remember right off. I don't believe so. But we had some up in New York. They saw it. North Carolina, South Carolina. It was all over the place. People, I bet there was probably like 50 different people reported that one. And that's what got my UFO group started, the Appalachian UFO Research Society. Me and Kyle Lovern started that up on that day whenever those reports started coming in. Like, heck yeah, good time to be a UFO hunter.
absolutely, man. And I know you know a lot about the crash that happened in Paintsville, Kentucky, the CSX crash. And man, if you want to go into detail about that, I mean that's one of the most historic UFO sightings here in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, we went out and investigated that one. That was a freaky story. This CSX train was heading toward the Paintsville Railroad Yard one night. They were coming from Russell, Kentucky, I think it was, and they were heading into Paintsville. And the engineer, he saw three bright lights up ahead coming around a bend, and he just assumed it was another train coming, so he kind of dimmed his lights and stuff for the other guy. And then just all of a sudden his instruments started going crazy on the engine there, and all his all the signals and everything were going off. I can't even, I'm not real familiar with the terminology on the trains, but all his panels were going crazy, and the lights went out and everything. He lost power in the cab of his train. And then as he kept kind of rolling around the bend, and he saw two lights kind of take off down toward the river, but the other one stayed on the track, and he collided with it. Couldn't stop the train or anything. He slammed right into this thing, and it supposedly peeled the top of the train off on his engine on the locomotive. Peeled the whole top of it off and damaged a couple of the coal cars behind. And he called the report in to their office in Miami for some odd reason in Kentucky, but their home office was down in Miami. So the guy, the transponder, told him he needed to just go ahead and try to take the train into the Paintsville yard and try to get it looked at. So he started it back up, and he slowly got there with the damaged cars and all. And this was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So we were not able to find any kind of witnesses that actually saw it. I guess they were all asleep at that time, but you'd think somebody around there would have saw something, because there's a lot of houses in that area, probably 20, 30 houses around there where it happened at, and nobody came forward to say they saw anything. And we investigated the site. It was all swept up clean. It was years later, but you could tell that new gravel had been laid down there. It was a lot wider than the rest of the gravel and stuff like that. So they picked that place clean. And there was a guy that came forward. He worked at the water treatment plant there in the area. And he said that like all the employees, all his coworkers and stuff, had to go have like radiation testing and stuff like that done, like soon after that, like a couple of days later or something. And they didn't really know why they were having to be tested. What's this all about? It's kind of crazy. We ain't been around radiation. Well, you never know. You might have came in contact with some radiation poison. But they never did really tell him why they were testing him or anything. So he thought that was kind of odd. So he came forward. Yeah, man, I didn't see the train or anything, but there was this one day that I had to get tested for radiation. Crazy.
Oh, is that what you hear a lot with UFO sightings? People exposed to radiation?
Yeah. There'll be a lot of radiation, and like around their eyes, conjunctivitis. Their eyes will get red, like they've been out in the sun for a long time or something, and blistered, and like the whites of their eyes will turn blood red, and just freaky stuff like that.
Wow. And I actually got what'd you say, man? My bad.
I've heard some reports people will get like burns and stuff, like from the ventilation on the craft if they get too close to them. So
Wow, man. That's definitely that definitely makes me not want to see one. Well, I mean, I've
Yeah,
seen one, but not like that.
yeah, it's best to just study it from a good safe distance.
Yeah, you can. I want to see one, just not up close.
Yeah.
And I actually got a story. I don't know if you've heard of this one, but here on the show, I've been doing UFO stories, and I'll read the ninth one out of the 15 here in Kentucky. And this one is out of Paris, Kentucky, and it was in October the 20th of 2012. It was a daytime sighting. Do you hear that a lot or not really?
They're more common than people would think. It's kind of odd. Usually they tend to be more associated with nighttime sightings. You can see the lights and stuff, but we get quite a few daytime sightings. And that date is just a week after the one that was famous from Virgi, Kentucky. So that's kind of weird. That was on October 13th of 2012. So
Wow.
this one is the 20th.
Yeah. Have you
That's
heard of
wild.
this one?
I don't believe so.
There's actually a video. I will send you the video
Cool.
through Messenger. And I mean, if you want to put, I know you add the video sometimes on your screen on your podcast and stuff.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
man, if
cool.
you want to, heck yeah, man. I think it's on YouTube. But here's what it says. It's not that. It's like one paragraph, literally, of reading. But it says this UFO was recorded over Paris, Kentucky, in October of 2012. Well, that's the obvious.
Mhm.
In a mutual UFO network. MUFON. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I used to be a part of that organization, and I got out of it. I was one of their field investigators, MUFON. They are based out of Pennsylvania, and I think they started up back in 1980 or so. But I could be off on that. But I was field investigator with them, those guys, for like 4 years during the time of while I was doing the Appalachian UFO Research Society too. Just like I quit back in 2017, I think it was. It's not been real long ago, but I kind of got tired of their politics and stuff in there. Hard to move up in the organization and stuff like that. So, and a lot of money racket too. They love money.
Everybody does. The witness stated that he also observed nearly a circular patch of ground approximately 14 feet in diameter where the grass was dead. The soil was discolored and there was a strange orange tint to the rock in the center. That's all it says. Do
Wow.
you hear the orange tint and rocks where there's a UFO sighting a lot or
Uh, Not a whole lot, no. But like the dead grass and stuff, that is it's pretty common around like the crop circles and things like that. I got a report. My first one with MUFON uh, was a guy. Let's see, he was up around Nitro, West Virginia, and he would spend a lot of time out on the river fishing. And one day he was out by this little swampy area, just kind of getting him something to drink or whatever. And he looked, and there was a big patch of dead grass in a circular pattern over to his right. And he always thought it was weird. He went by there every day and he never saw it before until that one day, and then it was just suddenly there. So he kept seeing it every time he'd go back, and then he said it was there like even a couple of years later. It never did. Grass never did grow back there for some reason. And I talked to him on the phone. That was a real good report, but I never did get up there to actually see it myself.
oh man. There's definitely a lot of UFO reports, and I know that you and Kyle are getting the you guys are the top researchers here in the Appalachian Mountains for sure, man. I mean, there's people all over the Appalachian Mountains reporting them to you.
Yeah, I think we got 4,000 followers on Facebook now. I think it's right
Wow,
around there, and we get a lot of reports. So people down in Georgia, and we like to go out, like the ones locally here. We'll go out and check those out, but it's hard for us to get time to get away from here down in Tennessee or anything like that. But we get reports from all over like that.
absolutely, man. That's definitely awesome though that people from other states are reporting sightings to you.
we got one from down in Memphis, report that we got recently. This one was from 2005, though. Feller lived near the airport. He would see the air traffic coming in and out around Memphis all the time. But one day he saw something just out of the corner of his eye that was like from the opposite side where the airplanes usually come from. So he thought it was kind of weird. So he started watching it, and it was like a big V-shaped I think he said there were 5 lights in a V-shaped pattern, and they were just sitting still there in the sky, and he was watching it like, well, that's kind of weird. And then just all of a sudden they shot off. So he said he thinks that was just all one big craft in like a V boomerang kind of shapes. It'd be freaky to see.
Wow, that's definitely that's crazy story, man. What's the craziest story? Have you heard of that story in Moorhead, Kentucky? It might have been your podcast where I heard that story where a woman was screaming and she was never seen again going into a UFO.
Yeah, it's wild. That was in my buddy Kyle's book. He talked about the screaming woman in Moorhead. They kept hearing somebody like all through the day. They would hear a woman like crying and screaming and stuff, and the police and stuff never could figure out where it was at. They had everybody kind of dumbfounded. It's a freaky story.
Yeah, that's definitely that's creepy, man. So she's never been seen or heard from ever again.
No.
Wow, man. I mean, have you ever heard any other stories like that?
I hear a lot of Bigfoot related stories with the screaming type sound on like a Bigfoot call would sound like a woman screaming sometimes. And people tend to associate that with a lot of Bigfoot activity.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories of Bigfoot like going into actually like a UFO. There's a lot of people who report seeing that. I personally don't believe that you're going to see Bigfoot and aliens going down to Burger King in the UFO.
This thing's kind of odd, don't it? But there've been a lot of reports of that, though. They'll see Bigfoot. Stan Gordon's had a bunch of reports on those up in Pennsylvania. People calling UFO sightings. They look, and there's a couple Bigfoot just running around out in the cornfield. It's weird. It makes you wonder if it's all intertwined.
They could be aliens. You never know.
Yeah, it could be just here checking out the scene.
Yeah. Well, they definitely do more than check out the scene. They eat everything in the world.
I heard some tree knocks up in the hill here behind my house a couple weeks ago. I think it was. I was out looking for my cat. Hadn't seen him all day, and I got home from work or where I was at late one night, and I was looking for the cat. And I was out in the backyard hollering, trying to get him to come in, and I heard a tree knock just like as soon as I hollered, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's kind of weird." And then like 2 or 3 seconds later, there was another tree knock higher up on the mountain. Okay, I see what's going on here.
Just giving you a warning.
Yeah, I just went on back in the house then.
Yeah, definitely don't want to encounter a Bigfoot, especially at night.
My cat came home though, so he didn't end up being their late night snack or anything, so he's fine.
I'm glad Bigfoot didn't get your cat, man. See, man, that might prove the fact what Bigfoot researchers said that there were some Bigfoot researchers said there's good, evil, and just decent Bigfoot, like just like there is humans. I think that might have been Earl.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Kind of depends on what kind of mood they're in that day. If you never know, somebody might have been shooting at them earlier in the day, so then they take their aggressions out on the next person. So they saw a mean Bigfoot. But I tend to think that they're pretty much just kind of peaceful, unless you get into their turf, get around their kids or whatever. They kind of get aggressive.
Yeah, I don't want to find that out though. Don Neal has some very interesting stories about Bigfoot, man. that guy gets so many reports. I mean, that guy is one of the most credible Bigfoot researchers out there.
Yeah, he's a good one. I like hearing his stories.
Absolutely, man. He's honestly the most interesting Bigfoot researcher to hear talk in the interview and stuff. I mean, honestly, he's one of the best Bigfoot researchers in the world.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree.
Absolutely, man. We're definitely been blessed to have him on 3 times now, and he will be on in November as well. So definitely look forward to that. I don't know if people know this, but all October we're doing cryptid stuff on the podcast and stuff. We're going to talk UFOs, Bigfoot, whatever, man, Mothman,
That's
everything,
cool.
ghost. We just had a ghost hunter on last night.
Yeah, now's the time for the spooky stuff around Halloween. People get really into that stuff. That's
Yeah,
cool.
actually, I thought about doing it more often than doing like other types of podcasts like music and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Once you get into it, you can go down a lot of different rabbit holes and
The
just
rabbit holes.
hear all kinds of different stories and stuff. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, definitely, man. What's the scariest story that you've heard about a ghost?
Um,
Or your experience? What's your scariest experience with a ghost?
yeah, I've seen a lot of those guys around. I can't think of any right off that anybody else has told me. A friend of mine was delivering supplies into the old hospital here. He heard some weird noises and I think like a glass breaking and stuff like that, and he was the only one there. So that's pretty freaky. And we've had my grandpa. He saw some crazy stuff in his time too. Uh, he was in an old house he used to live in here in Williamson, down in the upstairs. He was home alone one day, and he would always hear like all the bedroom doors slamming and stuff upstairs. Well, all of them, my mom and my uncles and everybody, they would all hear that stuff from time to time. The doors from the bedrooms upstairs would be slamming. And he was there by himself one day, and somebody just like said upstairs, and
Oh,
and we all said, "Well, what did you do then, Papa?" And he said, "I went upstairs."
I would too.
But that's pretty freaky though. He would hear all his doors slamming and stuff there. He's seen some wild stuff. And I've down there at my dad's house, he's got just ghosts constantly down there. We hear stuff every day down there. I was back in my old bedroom. I had Brandon down there. My son was playing with my dad one night, and they were in the living room, and I was back in my old room just messing around on Facebook or something, and I heard just as plain as daylight somebody knock on the kitchen window and the living room window, and it's like 10 feet off the ground, and somebody knocked on it. So I just figured it was one of them in there. They were playing in the living room, and my dad came in there. He said, "Did you hear somebody just now knock?" I said, "Yeah, I thought it was y'all." And he said, "No, it wasn't us." We hear all kinds of junk down there.
Wow. Have you ever heard any voices there?
Yeah, yeah, fairly often hear people talking and stuff down there. You never really can make out the words. You can just hear like a couple voices. That's crazy. It'll sound like it's just coming from inside the walls. You can't really tell
Hmm.
which room it's coming from or anything. It just kind of like echoes through the whole house.
Wow.
And you can hear like their voices, but you never can really make out any words of what they're saying.
Does it happen at the same time? Like every day?
Different times, it's kind of random. Sometimes it'd be late at night, sometimes in the daytime.
Oh,
Uh, before my mom died, she heard stuff all the time. Like my dad would go to work, and my sister be out with her friends or whatever. And I think I was in college at the time and stuff. Mom would just lay down, try to take a nap, and they would wake her up every day, knocking on the windows and stuff. She would get mad. Stupid ghost woke me up again this morning.
that would definitely be a very weird way to wake up, to a ghost waking you up. But that sounds more like an intelligent spirit, man, because residual happens the same time every second. Like, say you see like a mist every day at like 3 p.m. Like at this one place, my cousin's house, there would be a mist that would walk through the hallway and go into the bathroom every night at 3 a.m. That's residual haunting.
That would be pretty scary to see.
I
But
seen it every night that I would stay there.
that's wild. Yeah, it's the ones down there at my dad's house. They're definitely not residual type at all.
Have you ever smelled like a perfume or anything?
Yeah, I've smelled different smells of stuff like that too. Crazy. Um, like I think maybe like my aunt or something like that. Like it had like her type of perfume. And I would smell it like she had walked into the room and stuff. It's just weird.
Wow, that's definitely there's definitely something there, man. And if have you heard like music just play out of nowhere, like random music?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. We'll just be in watching TV or something, and we can hear in the hallway. Just sounds like somebody in there having church or something. You can just hear like drums and tambourines and everything pounding away in there. What in the world was this? And won't be any other TVs on or radio or anything like that. It just kind of disappear whenever you walk into the room.
Wow, that's definitely some intelligent presence for sure, man. I mean, sounds like that's a very active place too.
Yeah, it's crazy down there. I've tried to record stuff a million times, and they never want to be on any kind of recordings. I guess they they always shy away from that stuff. But we had a house fire in 2009, and me and my wife had to go in there, and we lived with my parents for a while. My mom was still alive at the time, and the first day of the fire, we had woke up that morning uh, down there at my dad's house, and I heard harp playing just like it was right up over top of me, just strumming away on a harp. And it woke me up. I was like, what in the world? And I closed my eyes back and then it just started getting even louder. I was like, man, what is this? We hear some crazy stuff down there.
Wow, man. Was it old church that used to be there?
I don't believe so, but it could have been. It was built back in the 60s. Um, it could have been like at the time they might have had like funerals and stuff in there at the time because a lot of the old timers in Appalachian would do that. They would just have funerals out there in people's houses.
Yeah, man, that's definitely insane. I mean, the fact that you hear music, man, that's what you usually hear with a very active place. I mean, you probably have more than 4 or 5 spirits there. There's probably up to like 15 or 20.
Yeah, I would say so. I've seen a few of them. Um, there was one I thought was my mom. One time there was a meteor shower, and I was standing out in the yard to see the meteor shower, and I turned around, just kind of felt like somebody was looking at me, and how you can kind of have that little feeling that somebody's staring at you and stuff. I turned around, and there was a woman standing at the kitchen door just looking out at me, and I just saw like the silhouette because I was out in the dark, and she just kind of turned and walked back to the house. So I thought maybe my mom was just checking on me or whatever, being out there in the yard because it was cold in the wintertime. So I guess I figured she was checking on me, and I went in the house. What's up? Did you need something? She said, I didn't. I wasn't up. I was sitting there watching TV.
Wow, man. Is there any other spirits that you've seen there?
uh, the first one I saw was like I refer to him as my Colonel Sanders ghost. He was standing in my sister's bedroom wearing a white suit. It looked like Colonel Sanders standing there, but I couldn't see his head. And his like my sister's room is over, like my bedroom was here, and my sister's room, and then bathroom was in the middle. And so I was going to the bathroom one day, and I just kind of glanced over into my sister's room as I was going in there, and I saw that dude standing there. I was like, huh. And it just kind of like faded away like fog. It's weird.
Yeah, that sounds like a misty type apparition. I've had a mist go through my hand actually outside my house and stuff, man. And then you could
That's
actually
weird.
in the mist you could see we took a picture of it. We was taking pictures when the mist came through, and we actually got a picture of it. You could see a face and stuff in it, like
Uh,
a person was carrying something.
that's creepy.
And the
Wow.
creepy thing is, my grandpa actually died killing a deer
Huh.
at
That's
the
weird.
same place.
Huh. Makes you wonder. That's odd.
Yeah, we got a lot of voices here. Never got his voice, but we did get a few other family members' voices. But the funny thing is, man, there's some things that have ghosts like trapped to an area until like certain things happen. And that there was something that some certain people like left, and then we never had there was never any more activity. Like people moved off the where I live, people moved off where like neighbors like moved, and then the activities like stopped.
That's pretty weird. It's wild.
Yeah, I don't know if they was at peace or what, or they fought. The heck, they could have followed them to where they moved.
Yeah, that stuff like that scares me. I'm afraid of taking something like that home.
Is your house haunted, like where you live, or you don't know?
Not really. I've we never really seen anything here. We got a double wide trailer sitting where the house used to be that burned down. We just put it here on their land, and we lost a couple of cats in the house fire. Well, one of them I think got out because some of the workers, insurance agents and stuff like that, saw one of the cats out. I never could find it, but the other cat I'm pretty sure burned up in the house, and we see that cat walking through the house all the time. It's kind of odd. There's a little tortoiseshell cat and had like the black with brown spots on it, and we'll see her walking around in this house all the time, and then she just like kind of disappears. But our cats that we have now, they will see it too. They take off, like they'll be sleeping on the couch, and they'll see the ghost cat go into another room. And they jump up off the couch to go like follow to see what's going on. So it's weird. It's just it's a cat.
Yeah, actually, on a ghost box when I was ghost hunting and stuff, we actually got a meow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was definitely it was a cat. It wasn't no person like mimicking a cat or anything. It was an actual cat.
It's freaky.
Yeah, definitely. It only happened one. It only happened one time. Excuse me. Yeah, man. It only happened one time, and actually, there was this one guy that we caught on the ghost box that said, "Good drink."
Huh,
No, they
that's
didn't
weird.
say good drink. They said whiskey.
Oh.
Like in that voice, they said whiskey. It,
That's
I don't
weird.
know. Yeah, it's like in that voice, like man, I don't know what was going on. I guess they just loved. Yes, the spirit just loved whiskey.
The ghosts down at my dad's house, they've all been fairly friendly to us. They seem to be like little pranksters and stuff. They like to knock on the doors and windows and stuff and turn the lights off and just little junk like that. But there was one time my sister got attacked by something down there. She was asleep. It woke her up like on top of her, like it was going to choke her or something. And she woke up and was trying to scream and couldn't get it out and everything. And she said like she could see red eyes like up in her face, like staring at her, and she was like struggling to get away and screaming and stuff, and couldn't get anything out. And like finally, whatever it was, just gave up and kind of just like went up into the ceiling. And she said just like kind of missed, like the Colonel Sanders guy, just kind of faded away into the ceiling.
Wow, that's
That was
crazy, man.
that was the only time any of them ever kind of tried to attack us or anything down there.
It
So
probably wasn't any of them spirits.
yeah, it could be like a little like a gateway type thing or something. Maybe one just kind of popped in.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird.
a portal.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, man. If you feel like you're being watched, there's a spirit around.
Yeah, it's a freaky feeling.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling, man, because you can't see them, but they can see you.
Yeah, not good.
No,
We were
but
talking about the residual hauntings. I seen one time around where my aunt used to live at in Nolan, West Virginia. Um, we would go there all the time when I was a kid. And one night we had just came from her house. We were coming back home, and it was pouring rain out. And there was a woman standing next to the road in a red raincoat.
Oh
and
God.
standing there, and we could see her like from a mile away as we were getting up close and just pouring rain and everything. My dad said, that woman better hurry and get out of the rain. She's going to get drowned out there. And like the closer we got, she just disappeared. And he's like, okay, where'd she go? But I saw that same woman probably about a year ago in the same spot. I was on my way home from taking my dad to church before I went to work one day. And I got to that one part there where we saw that ghost when I was little, 20, 30 years ago. And she was standing there, same deal, wearing a red raincoat, and disappeared when I got up to her.
Wow, man.
I saw her twice.
That's creepy. Have you ever seen that I know that you and your wife went to the famous place. I believe it's in West Virginia, right? Where you without touching your brake, it'll go downhill.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 22 Mine Road. I'd forget about it. That's a scary place there. That is where Mamie Thurman was murdered at. And they supposedly just dumped her on the side of the road back in 1923, if my memory is right. And she was just dumped off there. Somebody killed her. And so now when you go on 22 Mine Road, if you park at the bottom of the hill and put your car in neutral, your car will roll backward up the hill. Kind of urban legend type thing, being known and happening in several different places around the country. But I went up there one day. I was going to just like test it out with my wife to show her about it and stuff, to see if the car would roll up the mountain. So we got up to the top of the mountain. We had to come back down to turn around to get at the bottom of the hill. There's nowhere to turn there at the bottom of the hill. So we had to go completely up to the top before we found a place to turn around. And once I got up there, I don't know if that's where she got killed at or what, the Mamie Thurman lady, because I felt really weird up there, just like real sick and shaky when I got up to the top of the mountain. And I didn't think I could get back down the road. It was the weirdest feeling ever. I never felt nothing like that. I didn't think I was going to be able to drive. My wife can't drive. So I was like, oh man, I got to get us out of here. And so I just barely got us back out of there. I felt like I was going to pass out or something. But then once I got back down on the regular road and stuff, it started kind of going away. I didn't feel like it anymore once I got away from that one area. And by that time, I was too kind of agitated with whatever that film was. So we didn't even test out to see if the car would roll backward up the hill.
Yeah.
Just kind of got out of there.
Haven't they said that her spirit is very dark?
Yeah, they've there's been some pretty creepy stories about her. She's seemed pretty aggressive, angry, especially like toward men and stuff. I guess when she was alive, she had a lot of boyfriends on the side, and she was a married lady, but it didn't really stop her. So I guess now, like because of that, she tends to be more aggressive toward men and stuff. It's a freaky little story.
Man, that probably why you did your wife get sick or no?
No, she didn't really feel anything up there. It just kind of attacked me.
That proves the theory correct. Then
Could be.
anybody else have I gotta tell you a good story. One of my buddies, shout out to the Mountain Mysteries podcast. They're a great podcast, and I had him on. He actually talked about that, and he said that woman is evil. A truck driver, he seen a random truck driver came up to him, and he was telling him about a story because at that time he worked for a radio station, Mountain Mysteries podcast host did Chris, and he told Chris that woman is evil. He said he will never go on that road. He said that woman is. He called her a word I can't say. I mean a word I won't say though. It starts with it's a B word. And he said that B word is evil.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know what. It gets chill. I remember the story. It's gonna give you chills, dude. It's giving me chills right now, thinking about it. She popped up in his car, in his truck, in his
I have
semi
heard
truck.
stories like that she'll just like they'll look over, they think they got somebody riding with them, all of a sudden there's somebody sitting next to them. Weird.
Yeah, she went in his rearview mirror and everything. That guy was just like any of us would be. We'd be scared as well.
It's creepy. Wow.
Yeah, dude, I got the chills right now, man. I definitely believe in ghosts, man.
Yeah, it's
How
definitely
far is
real.
that from you, actually?
It's Logan is probably about 30 minutes over in the opposite direction. I'm right in the middle of Logan and Pikeville, so I'm about 30 minutes away from either one. We kind of take our choice. We'll go to Logan some days and Pikeville some other days.
I think I'd stay away from Logan if I'm hearing stories like that. Oh, have you actually heard other stories of her doing that as well?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of truck drivers and stuff. They'll say that like she just randomly appears in their truck, or like a lot of times they'll say that they see her like out hitchhiking and stuff like that too, and they'll stop to give her a ride, and there's like nobody there. Just weird, creepy stuff.
It's definitely creepy. It gives you chills thinking about it, man. What was so what do you believe happened with that girl in the train in that coat thing? You said she was out in a coat, like had a coat on and stuff. Residual haunting.
There, yeah,
Did that girl ever appear in somebody's car or something?
I don't believe so. I've never really heard any other reports of her, any kind of stories or anything. I think it's unless it's probably happened to other people and they just never really said. But only me and my dad who saw her that I know of. But
Where
there used
exactly
to be.
where exactly is that?
Over in Nolan, that is probably about 10 minutes from here, like you're going toward Logan, West Virginia. It is, there used to be a beer joint there back when I was a kid, and they tore it down to build the 4-lane road on 119. But my buddy Kyle thinks that maybe there was something like that the girl was maybe going home from that the beer place, the bar one night, and maybe she got hit by a car or something. She was wearing a red raincoat, and maybe she got hit by a car or maybe a train because next to the train track as well. And he kind of theorized that might be what her deal is, that maybe somebody like that. So it could probably be looked into, going to the library and look into some old microfilm and stuff and see if there was ever anybody hit by a car or anything there. Because I would just about guarantee you it would be her.
Yeah. Has he ever had an encounter with the at the mine road?
No, not that I know of. He's never seen any ghosts or anything like that. He saw a few UFOs before, but I don't think he's ever seen any ghosts or anything.
Yeah, he's probably happy about that. I don't think I would want to see her either.
Yeah, it's scary stuff to just uh, unknown. You don't really know what, like you said, they could be looking at you right now, and you don't really know that it can kind of mess with you.
Yeah, and they thought that and the truck drivers thought she was actually a real human.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ain't it?
Yeah, dude, that's insane, bro. That's definitely stay away from 22 miles. Would you ever go back again?
I've thought about it before, but I'd never have been brave enough to do it because it's just a weird feeling up there. I don't know. Like I can usually, I've had a knack over the years, I guess, from being raised in a haunted house and everything, that I can pretty well tell when a ghost is around. I have like this little sense. I can tell. Like after our fire, I would tell my wife, like we'd be out looking for new houses and stuff, and then we'd look at houses. And, nah, we don't want that one. That's haunted. And she's like, "How do you know?" I see 3 ghosts in there right now. But I've kind of picked that up over the years. But for some reason, that the Mamie Thurman thing, that just really messed with me, and I never really felt that from another spirit or anything before. It's weird.
Yeah, definitely. She can stay at 23 Monroe.
Yeah, let's just leave her there.
Yeah, yeah, and
Supposedly she is buried right there, but her grave, they never really had a good tombstone for her or anything. So maybe that's what she's mad about. She's buried there somewhere, and her tombstone is gone, so nobody knows where she's buried at for sure.
Wow, that's creepy. And for all the semi truckers out there, avoid that area. Where does that road even lead to, though?
There's an old used to be a coal mine up there, and there was a wood plant. After the coal mine shut down, there was a little wood factory up there. I've got an uncle that used to work at the wood factory, and
Oh, did he have any stories?
yeah, he saw some crazy stuff up there as well.
Oh God, did she get in the car with him?
No, he would like the mountain would be so slick in the wintertime, he couldn't drive his car up there, so he had to walk up to the wood plant. And like the whole time he was walking, he would hear like people following him, and like just off into the tree line and stuff. He could hear like noises and stuff over in there. And one time his wife was up there, she saw what she said was like a sheet just like flew in front of her car and like kind of blocked her windshield view for a second. And she slammed on her brakes and there was nothing there.
Wow,
So there was her story too.
that guy's got a lot of guts, man. Walking
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all.
No, that's creepy, man. Did he? How many times did he do that? Like a lot?
Yep. He worked there probably about 5 years, I believe he worked there, and just pretty much any time in the wintertime he would have to walk up there because the road would be too slick to drive. So he'd just have to walk it to the top. So he did it several times, but I think that was the only time he ever encountered her or anything.
Wow, man. I definitely feel sorry for him. He had to walk up there, man. That's insane, bro. There's definitely a lot of paranormal here in the Appalachian Mountains.
The way he told the story, it made me wonder if maybe there's some Bigfoot up in there too, because it kind of had that type of behavior. They would be like kind of off to the side, walking along, pacing him, not exactly like running after him or behind him or anything, but it always seemed like they were just like right off to his side. And that's kind of typical of Bigfoot behavior. So it's hard telling. Maybe Thurman might have all kinds of stuff going on up there.
Oh God, yeah, man, that's crazy stuff. Yeah, man, Bigfoot is definitely real. Ghosts is definitely real. I mean, when's people gonna wake up? But I know that you did a Mothman month. If you want to talk about that a little bit, and what is the most appealing evidence of Mothman being real that you've heard?
That was a lot of fun doing the Mothman series. I think most of those stories from 1967, those were the most interesting. He tends to hang out more towards Chicago now, but not really heard any really good stories out of there. Let's see him hanging around the airport and stuff at O'Hare. But up here, whenever he would be in Point Pleasant, like the whole story with the dog disappearing and stuff that night, and then they found a dead dog the next day out on the road or something. It was pretty crazy. And then in the old electric building, old electric company place there, where the two guys were riding a motorcycle, they stopped there and saw him like hanging out up at the top of that electrical place. And they went up there to go check it out. It was already shut down and abandoned by that time. So they just walked inside to go check it out. And they could see him up there just kind of walking around like on this little catwalk area. And the floor was crunchy, had glass and stuff on it and everything. They were afraid that it was like a man who was going to fall. So they went up there, you got to get down, dude. And it was like, it was Mothman. He had wings and kind of flew out the window then.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of good evidence of Mothman being real and stuff. I mean, Mothman's definitely one of the creepy creatures as well.
They tried to explain him away as being like a sandhill crane or something, and people are going to know the difference between a bird and something that's 6 foot tall walking around like that. It's kind of crazy, like the way the old UFO reports would try to explain UFOs away with swamp gas and junk like that. Just ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, and dummies falling out of a air balloon, hot air
Yeah.
balloon.
Yeah, people are going to know better. They know what they saw. They're not going to mistake stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. And this has been a lot of fun, man. And where can people reach you if they want to send you a story to read on your podcast, or if they want to be a guest on your podcast? They might have, heck, they might have another. I forgot her name. Mine Road
Uh,
22. They might
yeah,
have
maybe
a
maybe throw.
story. Yeah, that creepy woman. They might have
That'd
a
be
story
cool.
about her.
Get some more her stories. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're on Facebook in Dark Places and downloadable on anywhere podcasts are sold on iTunes and Spotify and all that junk. And it's free, so it's not really for sale. But but we're on there, and you can email us at indarkplacespod@hotmail.com.
absolutely, man. And your YouTube will be in the description, and so will your Spotify. Definitely want to thank Junebug for doing the crossover episode, and everybody have a great night, and God bless.